Hello, my friends. It's Andy coming to you live from Orange County, California. And, oh, my mic is way down here. Hold on one second. I'm not sure how. My mic fell down. There we go. Sorry about that. Hey, I'm coming to you live from Orange County, California. Hetty is not here right now because she has a bad back that kind of hits her every so often. So I'm letting her rest. I didn't even get dressed up. I'm wearing my manly t-shirt and a manly hat. I hate to even try to go in the room. I just don't want to wake her up. She finally is getting some rest, which is not easy to do around this house, considering you got 4 kids running around with energy. So I decided that I would go live just for a little bit, just to kind of share a little bit about what this talk will be. As soon as Hetty's feeling a little bit better, we'll get back on it. But I do have enough to say, I think, for just a little bit about what it means to be a man. And it seems to be that it means something slightly different than it did, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. I'm really not sure how long ago I can go back when it seemed to be appropriate to pick the lady up at home, take her to dinner, and already had picked out the restaurant. And, through the small talk on the way there, get a little, if you didn't do this already over the phone, the phone that hung up on the kitchen wall, get to know her a little bit, ask her a few questions, find out what kind of food she likes and that kind of stuff. And then with that information, with that armed information, then to go and be a gentleman and order some hors d'oeuvres and and talk through what the meal is going to be in order for her. And this is referencing a post I put up where that is said in the post. And wow, did I get a number of different responses. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to find it here really quick. And I'll just share it here. Take down this lower third. Sorry about that. We just got done cooking dinner for all the kids and I rushed on really fast here. Here we go. All right. So let me go ahead and share this screen. And this is what the post says. The best thing my husband did on our first date was choose the restaurant, order the food for us, and take us for ice cream afterwards. I didn't have to make a single decision. Nothing is sexier than a man who knows how to lead. Now, that really seemed to spark some controversy that I wasn't really prepared for. I thought most of the response would be, yes, finally, somebody post something to kind of teach men how to respond. Sorry, I'm going to tilt my mic up a little bit more. And no, I got some, and I'm going to go deeper into some of the more questionable things. The very first one, I'll just talk about that one right now. Let me see what that says here. It says, hold on. It said, that's not leading, that's controlling. Gross. So that's how it started. That was the very first post. And I kind of went, whoa. And then a man right after that, a gentleman right after that said, well, look, it only took one comment. And I thought for a moment that it would be based on the age group. I was thinking, well, that person must be in their 20s, maybe early 30s at most. And then in that age group would say that it's gross, that a man should never order from me, should never suggest a restaurant. I only go to certain restaurants and I'm not going to be taken. I'm not going to have a man tell me which restaurant to go to. And then those that are in their late 30s, 40s and 50s. And then you would think they would be more used to what would be considered a gentlemanly act of choosing the restaurant and choosing the meals. So, like I said, there's a lot of comments, and I would just I just want to wait when Hetty is feeling better to be able to talk about those things. But I did want to at least go through something that I'm going to be discussing further as time goes on. And I've talked about this before, right after I got this book called Man to Man by Lieutenant William G. Boykins. He just happens to have an event coming up on the 20th of March. If you're in the area, sign up for it. You can find it on, oh man, I had it here. Now I don't have it. But anyway, it's going to be held at Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills on March 20th. And so you're going to want to make sure and do that. But what I want to read from this book is where I want to go. And that is talking about what it means to be a man today, because I really think men have lost not the strength. It just seems like it's like men have been attacked for the last 20 years for masculinity. Masculinity is sometimes looked at as being gross. It's looked at as being racist, maybe in some cases. It's looked at as being homophobic. I mean, there's so many different things that you see on television shows and commercials that make men look to be, goofballs and lazy, or they can't make decisions, without the wife's input, or one thing after another, that they just simply are buffoons. And masculinity is something not positive in a man. Carol said, man pays, man choose, get over yourselves. Other times, a mutual choice. Yeah, I mean, it really, I'm just going to go on that one comment. Again, there's a lot of comments, so we have a lot of stuff that we could talk through later on. But on that one alone, it's as if she thinks the woman who wrote that post, and I'm sorry, I let's see what her name is here really quick. I don't want to say that woman because that sounds bad already. Liz. So Liz, I think was basing it off of, you got this strange man picking me up and then suddenly making all these decisions for me. I would hope on your first date that, unless you met like Hetty and I met, we got thrown together. But even then, after a day or two, or even 24 hours of being able to talk on the phone, is that you might want to ask that person, what do you like? What kind of food do you like? What kind of dessert do you like? Do you like dessert? Do you like meat? Do you like chicken? Are you vegetarian? Are you whatever? And so I'm really surprised that mindset that Liz has is that it's just based on this stranger. Now, maybe that's what happens in online dating. Where I don't know, because I've not done it. So if that's a lie. I had back in the, it was before Facebook. What's it called before Facebook? MySpace. Do you want to come on? Yes.
Sorry about me?
Well, I told all the kids, don't go in there. She's finally getting some rest. And you're back. You left with like holding your back and you looked like you were in such pain. I didn't dare wake you up. And I felt so bad that I go, you know what? I got to go live because I'm already scheduled to go live. Here, hold on. I'm fixing the mics. The kids, I think, might have messed with it a little bit. But just finishing up with Liz is that this concept, MySpace? MySpace. And I think that's how I met her. I'm not sure. Somebody said, hey, there's this other girl. And I did. And that's the only time. And she had these, I'm not going to say, because some of you.
On a MySpace date?
I think so. I don't remember how it happened. It might have been email. It might have been, I don't know. It was something. Tumblr. I don't know.
Tinder?
No, because Tinder wasn't around. This was before all that stuff. But I don't know. I don't know what happens when you're on Match.com. I don't know if you get connected and then you're supposed to go and meet somewhere. Because how would you not know on that first date what the person somewhat likes? You should have already had that discussion. I ask stupid questions all the time. About, what's your favorite planet? What's your favorite animal other than a dog or a cat? What's your favorite food? What do you hate? What do you love? All those kinds of questions.
I think that's awesome.
Okay. Well, that's why I'm so confused as to why Liz would act that way and saying that it's gross that a man makes the decisions. I had in mind, let me go ahead and read this one thing here. Now that Hetty is here, we may go further into the Facebook post, but, there is a section here, and again, I'm reading from Man to Man, which is Lieutenant William G. Boykins. He's a retired lieutenant. He's one of the founders of Delta Force. And he says, and it bears repeating, a man is called to provide far more than money. And the reason I want to read this is because this is kind of where I hope that most men would think that their responsibilities lie. And that is, a man provides leadership. A man provides direction, caution, and advice to others. A man provides emotional and spiritual support. A man provides stability and order. A man provides companionship and good company. A man provides identity. A man provides an example. And that goes with, I believe, to the wife and the children.
Absolutely.
All that sound good?
Absolutely.
So now that you're here with us,
yes,
you feeling better?
I'm feeling much better.
Oh my gosh. When you left the room, I just see like the pain.
I literally couldn't move. I rained down Holy Spirit power on me from Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior.
And Advil?
And no, nothing to do with the Advil.
All right. So how many of the comments did you get a chance to read?
A lot of them.
A lot of them. What are your thoughts when it comes to this, maybe even in relationship to what I read, that there was is visceral the right word? A few visceral reactions to the thought that a man on the first date would choose a restaurant, order, and that kind of stuff.
A couple of thoughts.
Yes.
A couple of thoughts. I think it is, like you said, if you don't know each other and like you met online and it was just like, hey, I think you're cute. Okay, yeah, you're cute. Meet me at Starbucks or something. And the guy picks you up and he's like, okay, I ordered you some scallops and some grits and this is what we're eating. It'd be a little weird. So that I get, but if you are going on an old school first date where someone's introduced you and you have confidence that this is a good man and you're both believers and he's like, hey, I've picked this wonderful restaurant. I thought we'd have this, steak meal for two. Do you eat meat? And like, yes, I do. Or you knew ahead of time because one of the ladies was like, I've got a bunch of food allergies. If a guy orders for me, I may die. So I appreciate that because I got a lot of food allergies too. But I assume you would have had some kind of basic discussion of that. I think it's not so much does he literally order, but does he take charge? Which is what you did from literally, I knew Andy 22 minutes and he was like, sit here. Don't worry. I got you. And afterwards, he's like, going to eat. Come with us. The next day, he was like, okay, my kids are coming to church. We're going to go to McDonald's. We're going to hang out. Will you come? I'm like, yes. It was like, I think it was the last decision I made was the day I met Andy at the conference. Occasionally, he does ask me, like, hey, how do you think about this? But it's kind of rhetorical.
Because I already have a plan in mind.
Yes, exactly. It's just like, are you going to fight me on this? It's a kind of like that kind of a question. But I personally love it. I'm used to being in charge of a lot of things, and it's really nice to have somebody take charge.
Well, there's the thing, and I hope that I'm not speaking out of turn, or I'm not wrong on this. Is that I don't do it. Hopefully not as a tyrant.
No.
And I do it because there's so many moving parts with this family.
Yes.
And you have to, if you hesitate, if you take too long, and I have done that I've done that also, where we can't make any decisions.
Yes.
And so you can't do that either. You have to kind of like corral the cats the best that you can, and do your best.
You're so good at it too. I get anxiety sometimes just sitting in the car planning on what drive-thrus we're going to go through. I'm just like, I just want to curl into a ball and be like, just do it. You just take charge, because he really, there is a lot of children and there's a lot of decisions to be made, and he just makes them like that.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
I appreciate a man who knows how to respectfully take charge.
Yes.
That's the difference. And I think there's maybe some of these comments are based on their experiencing not being that great. And
quite honestly, I think it's also believing that the man is spirit filled and he's gonna make good decisions. I don't think it's a food thing. It's just, is he gonna make good decisions? Do I trust this person?
I like Carol. Carol says, in my 20s, I survived on men paying for my dinners.
I love that. That's very funny.
Just get to a couple of these comments really quick. My favorite. Yes.
Oh, he asked me all kinds of questions. Favorite planet was one of them, actually. It was almost like being on a Trivial Pursuit.
Other than Earth.
Game show.
Yeah. Other than Earth. That's the rule. And it can't, and then if somebody says sun, no, the sun's not a planet, the sun is a star. And so, but you see how this all, it's not really about necessarily, I could care less in the beginning.
Do you remember what planet I said?
I don't know. Mine's Saturn. Did you remember mine was Saturn?
Yes, because you said to me, everybody chooses Saturn, because I didn't choose Saturn. You're like, wow, everybody.
There you go. What was yours?
Venus.
Oh, yes. I do now.
Yeah,
I do, because that was the thing. And that's the thing. It doesn't matter what the planet is, that how unique are you? What is your thought process in deciding that? I think it's Neptune. Isn't Neptune the one that blocks the meteors from hitting Earth? I think it's one of the bigger planets that blocks the meteors, that not all of them, but some of the bigger meteors that would hit Earth. That planet happens to be right in the perfect spot to protect us from some very
very cool,
very dangerous.
Fun fact.
Yes. So, and so it's the thought process. So yes, Amy, I ask what's your favorite planet. I ask what's your favorite animal, not a cat or a dog, and a number of different things just to kind of get things started to find out where we're at. So if you say, I'm really not an animal person, our first date will not be at the zoo. That's how you know. That's how you know. Like I go, okay. And so one of the first dates we really went by ourselves was Donald Trump's golf course.
Oh, you guys, that was so
Is
beautiful.
that not the perfect place to go for us?
He surprised me. And I've lived in LA, like, other than when I went to DC for work, like I'm an Angelino, born and raised, and I had never seen this place. And he surprised me. He wouldn't tell me where we were going. It was so nice. It really was.
We went for a little hike.
And
I was armed.
And did you remember? That's why I loved it. I was like, oh my God, there's nothing sexier than reaching like over to a man and feeling a gun.
And I go, don't worry, that's not for you. That's for, I just want to make sure you knew that I wasn't carrying it for any other reason.
Wow. Is that the coolest? Like, I feel safe now.
All right, let's go back to the post here. Oh, look, there's Hedia.
What am I doing there?
I don't know. You're just Hedia Marshall.
Oh, because
Marshall.
Okay.
Marshaled.
That's a life event.
I got engaged. It's a life event. All right. Depends. No, this one. No, there's an explanation. There's Zelna Bet says, no, he can choose a restaurant, but I'm ordering my own food.
The Priscilla said that with that voice you just did. No, I hear you, Priscilla. I mean, choosing our own food, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Christina says 100%. I love this, Andy. Yeah, I didn't write it, but thank you. Yes, I would love that, says Mary. Loretta, very sexy. Elisa,
Foof, no.
F no. Destined for a dictatorship of a marriage. Let's talk about that. What do you think?
But see, again, that's the difference to me, is he being led by God? Because the hierarchy is established biblically. Christ is the Lord and head of the house. He sends the commandments and the orders down to the husband, and the husband sends them down to the wife, and together they send them to the children. Now, if your husband's not Christ-centered, then I tell this to my girlfriends. I said, if you want to be with a man that's not a believer, then he can walk you down a dark alley and mug you. Like, I mean, like, that's what life's about, because every turn you make, you have no idea where he's going. And that's very, very difficult to put your life in someone's hands that you don't ultimately trust to be following your Lord.
Right.
So, outside of that, I can understand that it's difficult, but I also come from a traditional background. Middle Easterners are very traditional. My mom has always obeyed and submitted to my father. So it's something that I'm used to. It's not foreign to me, but I can understand for people that don't either have a Christ-centered man or aren't from conservative or traditional backgrounds, that may be weird.
And that's what I wonder about Elisa's comment, the F no, destined for a dictatorship of a marriage. Is that say more about her, or say more about maybe the men she's chosen?
Both.
That if you've ever experienced a good man, and I'm not saying anything about me. I'm just saying if you've never experienced a good man, and you've had, and I'm not saying anything about her. I've
actually been in those, so I know what a bad dictator is. Like, to follow a man again, because
then it becomes scary to trust a man after that.
And it's scary to trust that man too, because when you feel like they're running you down a dark alley and you can't get out, that's extremely frightening. So there's a lot of women in relationships with abusive men that they can't get out of, or feel like they can't get out of.
Yeah. Just hit me. And again, Lisa.
And you have experience with that.
I don't know. I don't know Lisa personally that well, so I can't say anything. And I don't want to make it sound like I'm assuming anything about her past life or anything that she's gone through. But I can see, based on being a family crimes detective and you were saying, those domestic violence calls, that some of those women that were just literally beat with broken bones to their face, how difficult. The strangest thing is often would go back to that man. They would often be at the department the next day bailing them out.
Well, the thing is that are they able to survive without them? So sometimes women feel like they don't have options.
So this is tricky. And this is really where this kind of really began to work on me a little bit. Is this is a tricky thing, this trusting somebody. I think it is a trust thing.
It is. Whether they're worthy of the trust too. So all these things that General Boykin talks about are qualities that he's trying to instill in Christian men. But if a man doesn't embody those qualities, you can't give him the trust and the honor that he would otherwise deserve if he doesn't have those qualities, if he doesn't possess the qualities that are worth honoring.
Right. Carl says about the planet, I'm glad you didn't say Uranus. And that also, if that was one of the answers, then I would have said something about her sense of humor. Again, every planet, like Pluto, one of my favorite planets for the longest time was Pluto. It was so far out there and it was little. Oh, yeah. And it's like, it's still there though. It's still hanging on. And then they took away its planet status. And then I think they brought it back. All right. So let's go back to seriousness here. When what we were just talking about, when it says here, Boykin puts in the very first thing, a man provides leadership. That is a huge responsibility. Not all men can handle leadership. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw this, when I was reading this book and he says leadership. And I said, dang it. I know so many men that couldn't lead a mule to water, a thirsty mule to water. Like I work with them alongside of them. And I said, dude, and I've talked about this as training police officers all over the United States. I've trained thousands of police officers, and just for some of them to make a decision. And some of these realistic scenarios I would put them through would be an active shooter. And then you would actually hear gunfire. And then I would begin yelling at them, make a decision, do something. What are you going to do? And I was shocked to find out how many. And again, these are guys that have gone through testing, gone through police academies. They're working police officers. And they can't lead and they can't make a decision. I said, what are you going to tell your backup to do? Where do you want to go? I don't know. I've never done this before. Well, do something. What do you mean? And they're like panicking and they just completely freeze. So, and I've also known men, friends of mine, who are horrible with women. Like they just are awkward and inappropriate. And I don't want to be picking on men either. But I think my reason for bringing this up is, how do we do that? And I think it really is, this is the problem with fathers and fatherhood and the father training it's gone haywire, especially more and more today.
Absolutely.
I just see it I got to see how I can say this. I've seen it in the communities that I've been in. That we have had some fathers just really not helping their sons whatsoever become men. Simple things like take out the trash, clean the pool. I've had all my sons at some point have mowed the lawn with either a push mower or an electric mower that we have. I mean, and then
someone's going to cherish those qualities.
And then I just ask, hey, how many, ask about that. Well, they've never done that. Like, what do you mean they've never done that?
Yeah.
Wash the dishes, fold the clothes, take the clothes. I have Rhett, he's 10. He takes the clothes out of the washer, puts them in the dryer. He knows how to empty the lint bowl. All my kids, one shocking thing with my kids, I'll give them money to go to the store. When they come back, they hand me the change. I never would have done that as a kid. They always come to me, hey, Dad, here's your change. I go, oh, good.
Nice.
But again, I'm not perfect either. I'm just saying that just some of these small things go a long ways as boys grow up.
For sure.
They see me open the door for you every time, I hope.
Yes.
They may not say anything, but I hope I've never,
I noticed for sure.
I rarely fail.
Never.
I mean, I fail only because she runs out there ahead of me and gets in the car. And I go, hey, what are you doing? And he goes, it was cold. I want to get in the car.
Stand at attention, woman.
So
I love Carol's comment. She's like, I got married at 36. Okay, man, please take charge. I'm tired. I hear you, sister.
So what do we do? I mean, have you noticed the same thing? I mean, I don't know how many. We've talked about guys you've dated and that kind of stuff. But have you noticed that too in some men that they're just like awkward with you and don't know how to talk to you? And you've had different stages of your life where you've not been easy to approach.
Yeah. No. yeah. The man had to have some pretty bold courage at any stage of my life to come up and talk to me. So those got weeded out early.
Yeah.
Weeded out early. But I do know men that have never changed a light bulb and don't do anything around the house and basically look at me like yeah, the light's out. And I'm like, wait, really? I've got to do this? Like, you're not going to change the light bulb? And tons of men, actually, that are not handy at all. Oh, absolutely. Actually, I have not ever been with a man that was handy.
Well,
literally all from
never.
when I was, until you. Oh. Until you. Remember how he's so lucky because I get so excited over the simplest things. Like he takes out my trash can and I'm like, oh my God, you just took out the trash can. He's like, wow, what kind of men have you been with? What is that?
Who have you been with?
Yeah. So
what is going on?
I think it's exciting.
Oh, good. So do they ever last or do you ever try to help them through it? Do they ever change?
I usually end up doing it. No, they'd never change.
What?
No, a grown man's not going to suddenly start taking out the trash when he's never in his whole life taken out the trash.
Really?
Yeah.
And I don't mean to be this shocked, but I am shocked. I mean,
no, I mean
because I know some of the guys that you've dated.
No, the last relationship I was in, I couldn't even tell people how Mr. Tough Guy, and the HVAC went out and it was freaking cold. And I was like, what are we going to do about the HVAC? He looks at me. He's like, I don't know. What are you going to do about the HVAC? And I was like, oh, really? I've got to solve this problem. It's the middle of the night. It's freezing and there's it's not working. The heater's not working. So yeah, it was all on me. All of it.
Wow. Okay. So there, like, at no time do you have the, I mean, we have lots of discussions about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like, we talk through it and then there's either a change or a compromise. That's not something you don't think that that's possible to say, hey, from now on, you're the guy in this relationship.
Like,
I'm the petite, dainty woman.
Yeah, no, he was like, no, I don't do those things. Either you're gonna do it or you're gonna hire somebody to do it.
Oh my gosh. I don't know where to go with this. I mean, what's the solution? I mean, at what age are they lost causes? I mean, at
his age, he was definitely a lost cause. The question is, how long are we going to stand for it? And then, of course, you're in this position where you're kind of like, I'm supposed to be a modern woman. How can this bother me? Like that he says, why is it his responsibility to do the HVAC? It's just, you start to think your mind plays tricks on it. And this is, of course, before I was a believer too. Your mind starts to play tricks on you saying, okay, so why am I expecting that he should know how to deal with the HVAC?
Right. Let's see here. Sharon says, hey, my hubby never cleaned dishes or did housework till we had kids. Now he helps out a lot. See, men can change. Nice.
That's wonderful.
And should. And that's what I love. And I've been trying to bring this up. I'm not sure if they came through. I tried to put some links. Let me know if the link worked. If I don't have the answer, YouTube does. Right. Go to YouTube. You have
to want to, right? Carl,
yes.
You're like, hey, I've got to figure this out. I'm going to watch a YouTube video. But it's another thing for a man to be like, I'm not doing this. I don't care how many YouTube videos you find for me. I'm not doing it. Right?
Yeah, I guess so. So I'm going to put this up really quick and I don't want to forget to do that. And that is this Stand Courageous conference at our church, Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills. A few speakers are going to be there. You got Tony Perkins, General Jerry Boykins, whose book I was just referring to, Stu Weber, Bishop Larry Jackson. Let me look at a couple of these other speakers. I know Jack Hibbs is going to be there, our pastor, Dr. Joaquin Molina, Tony Perkins, I said, Pastor Mark Sturmer. Do you know him?
No, he's Southern Louisiana.
Yeah, Dr. Stu Weber, Kenny Curtin, Harold Harper. Wow, there's a few faces and names I don't know. Dr. Mark Harris. That's not Eric is his other guy's name. Wow, there's some names here. I don't know who these people are. Reverend Randy Wilson. And Jack's not even on there, but Jack will be there because it's his church. How come he's not listed on there? But I think that's a good place to send some people. I'm taking my 14-year-old son who's over sitting in the chair. And it is just for men, trying to bring back, let's see if it has actually
Stand Courageous.
It's called Stand Courageous. Stand Courageous is a ministry that seeks to help men develop strong biblical character, cultivate positive habits, build and rebuild relationships, and make commitment that will move men closer to God's good purpose and design. Men who will stand courageous.
It's like Joshua 1, our tagline for the devotionals. Be strong and courageous, for the Lord God is with you.
Yeah, because something has to happen. There's got to be some training. We got to get some men involved in what's it called, buds over at our church. and that's a program at our church that's taking men through a, I don't know, 8-month, 9-month series. It's a long series, and you had to actually not really apply, but you had to be. They only were taking so many men, and so this first wave is man training. Had to be men. It's so sad that we have to be trained to be men.
Well, I mean, you don't come out of the womb that way. You just expected that it happened a lot earlier in life. You know, that there was a father figure that was rearing a young man to be a man, a young boy to be a man. But in a lot of cases, either that father figure wasn't around or that rearing didn't take place.
Yeah.
I love the Carl's comment.
Oh, sorry.
Like Tim from Tool Time, you remember?
It feels could be a what?
It feels good to be able to take care of my family and fix things, like Tim from Tool Time.
Oh.
I love that show.
There is some satisfaction when the job is done, when it's done right, and it actually works. I don't know how many times my old washer went out, like 3 or 4 times. And like Carl was saying, I of course tried to fix it for like 2 hours, and it wasn't fixed because it wasn't getting fixed. And I finally went to a YouTube video.
Nice.
And the YouTube video, oh no, was it washer? It was either washer. It doesn't matter. It was either the washer or dry. I can't remember. But what was happening, you know how they're based on whether the lid is open or closed. Mm-hmm. Well, what I needed to do, it was really strange. You had to turn on the timer to a certain setting. Let the
This is to fix it?
Yeah, I'm making this up. This isn't exactly what you were supposed to do, but you let the timer run out. You then lift the lid up 3 times. So and then you put it all the way back again, and then it reboots, it resets.
Oh my
That's
God,
the reset.
so cool.
But who would know?
You'd have to look it up.
And I had tools out. I was pulling things apart. I was reconnecting wires. I was testing things with my wire tester.
It's like when you call the Geek Squad and they tell you, I'm sorry, have you rebooted the computer? And you're like, oh, why do they always say that?
Yeah, yes. So what about you were talking a little bit about this when you felt the gun that I was carrying on our real first date, that they had most women go, oh my God, he's got a gun, I'm running, I'm out of here. But not you. How important, so if it wasn't important that he knows how to do things around the house, because you were with him for a while.
Yeah, it wasn't then. Yeah. Okay. It wasn't.
What about the being felt like when you're out somewhere that he could take care of you if the crap would hit the fan?
Oh yeah, no. Yeah.
So fighting skills, putting himself between you and danger.
Yes, for sure.
Oh, that's important.
Like I don't think I could be with a man that wasn't.
How do you test that?
Well, some people are just naturally like that. Like it's pretty obvious. But I know when I was going through my list with the Lord, it was like, it has to be a dude that could manage the trench. Like I'm not going through Armageddon and end times with a man that can't be in the trench. So it has to be able to take command, skin an animal to eat if you had to. Like there was no way I was going through that time with a sissy.
All right.
With a Metro.
Well, good. I mean, and again, those are things that I found out, fortunately for us in law enforcement, on calls. So you would get a call like 132 and 3K3 respond to blah, blah, blah. And you know that, did I say 133? I already forgot the call number. So 133.
Beth can remind you.
And I think, yeah, probably. And I think I know why I say 133, because there was this officer that was 133. And I would go, oh. And on the way there, I would say, oh, I remember this area being a little bit more dangerous. We may need another backup. And we really did. I just needed a backup that could handle themselves, because the 133 could not.
You're like, no,
like I go,
dude, don't have my six.
And it would be like a robbery in progress or a gang fight or something like that. And I said,
I'm not going in that with there.
No, I need another one. And you can actually cancel 133 because having somebody like that, it can be dangerous because they're full of weapons. They got knives and guns, and usually more than one gun. And you go, the last person I want is that walking gun closet.
Actually, and my mentor, my Christian mentor, we make jokes about this all. Before I met you, we would make jokes about this all the time when we would run men through a criteria, because again, we're planning for the end times. To be like, can he kill someone with a soup can? Like that's no. He's like, we can't. We're not interested, because you got to be able to be resourceful in the end times. You don't know what in the world can happen. I'm a prepper, ladies. Remember, I'm a prepper. So.
Yes. One thing I would tell officers that I was training in the academy or and this is when you could talk like this. I would say just when you get ready to go in for an active shooter, just pick the people you want to go in. Not everybody can go in.
Yeah.
Some you just want on the perimeter. Go ahead and take the outside perimeter. And
kind of like people on the baseball field, right? Don't you see some of those guys in the outfield?
Yeah. Hey, for kickball, in elementary, I was often picked last.
Oh.
So kickball, I apparently wasn't that good at.
Oh.
I just remember in second grade being picked last. Like,
Oh.
but I was small.
Oh, that's why. They didn't know small and mighty.
No, but later on. But my heart. And I got bigger and I went to the gym. Thank you, Bev. Bev and I know each other from Anaheim Police Department. Oh, good. Thank you. My boys like hockey fights. They've seen me into the penalty box numerous times. Led my league in penalty minutes for 1 year. Nice. Yes, we had those guys like Carl on our team. Mike Lazo was one of those guys. You just would tell him, Mike, don't get in a fight, and he'd be like the captain of our team. I say, Mike, we need to have 5 men on the ice. Do not lose your cool. He would get one skate on the ice, and he'd already be in a fight. I go, we told you.
Maybe he just plays hockey to fight.
Oh, it's possible.
Okay.
What is it? You read it.
And if he doesn't know how to kill a man with a soup can, he should at least know how to Google it. Exactly. No, duck, go. No Google. All right. So we've covered Amanda doesn't know how to do things around the house, like simple things, like not even to change a tire. What if you got a flat tire? Culture play.
Okay. Change windshield wipers.
I don't know. We never got in that situation, but we had a flat tire. We actually,
Change oil.
No, that's dirty. He wouldn't have touched. There was no way he'd dirty his clothes and his hands to change oil.
Oh, never. Kelly knows how to change the filter in the pool, and that's like a process.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I did that when he was 13. 13? I think he was 13 is when he started doing it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that stuff around the house that he can protect you. The ordering of the food, at least. Like taking charge, like on a night out, and at least you feel that he's a man. That you're not the way. We need to go this way. Yes, dear. Yes, like walking behind you. Yes, dear. Here, hold my purse. Hold my jacket. Yes, dear.
I couldn't last 24 hours at that.
Do you think that's what women want nowadays, though? I mean, the women like the ones that really didn't like our thing, that they would much rather have a man that was submissive to them. Does that sound?
I think some do, but it gets old. I can't imagine long term that it is. But I know biblically, one of my mentors always says that there's lion and there's sheep. So lions belong with lions and sheep belong with sheep. Otherwise, if a lion's with a sheep, one of them's going to get eaten. The sheep's going to get eaten. It doesn't matter whether it's the man or the woman. But if it's very important that the woman not be the lion and not be the sheep. And she's like, see over there, those two? That woman is the lion and he's the sheep. Because it leads to an imbalance and the man ultimately is unhappy. If the woman is the boss, his nature will be unhappy. It's just against his nature. And vice versa, I think.
So with this mentality and this mindset and men being now seemingly okay with it, is that why you think that we're seeing these, what's it called, the equality bill and some things like that going through, that they say, well,
where does it end? Of course. Men aren't even men anymore. What are you talking about? There's no genders.
Men that are pussies
there's no genders.
Playing girl sports.
And why not? Because if they're in every other way, there are no distinctions between the genders. Why can't we play in each other's sports? You know what I mean? We can use each other's bathrooms.
It's got to be men that are voting for these things, because women aren't voting for men to compete against women, are they?
And ruin their sport? I doubt it.
I mean, there's a couple lunatics, I'm sure, that have decided that their boy is now a girl at 6 years old and buying them dresses and putting makeup on them and all that kind of stuff. I guess there's an HBO documentary on this type of thing. I've not seen it. I've heard about it on like Fox News and that kind of stuff. And
are we boycotting HBO now too? Andy doesn't let us eat Cadbury at Easter because of the video.
No Cadbury?
Yeah.
It won't
totally
nothing be
Easter.
Delivered with Amazon. And I don't go to Staples.
I don't know about you. I'm not giving up Amazon.
Well, I'm not doing it. My principles, and again, you have your thing. But I mean, but just back to this thing, I don't understand the thought, the mindset of anyone thinking that they not understand. I mean, they've never been around and seen the difference in strength and in sports and watch sports, that you can think that a man that would normally be playing football or lacrosse in a way that's very hard hitting and in a faster game, that a girls team has any hope to be able to compete with a wrecking ball like that.
Yeah,
and we've seen
we're
video
going to
of it.
see the repercussions of it in a couple of years, I'm sure. Once it goes through, we'll see what happens to the sport and how it changes, and maybe, God willing, it'll course correct. But I don't think people understand.
Women are going to get hurt. Although the world records that are going to be set will never be able to be beat by a woman. And again, I'm not saying that women are not athletic. I know he's making a lot of noise. Are not athletic. I was just trying not to say anything. Are not athletic and don't have strength and ability and smarts and that kind of stuff. But there's a limit.
Yeah,
hey, there's just simply a limit. We that's why they have the different sports. That's why they have a women's league and a men's league, because of that reason. This is never, and it's so difficult for a woman to play.
Do we sound like bigots?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just trying to correct. Like, I don't know where this. Oh my
God, it's so.
But it seems like some of these answers are like, well, I mean, those are some of the people that I think maybe don't understand the roles. And I know that maybe sounds like a cuss word or it's so weird, foreign to some people. But there are these roles. It's not that men are better than women. It's just that if you biblically and when it ideally, a man should be able to protect the flock, should be able to protect the family. That is ideally, because that's why God made us stronger and gave us some of these abilities to actually kill people. I wouldn't have a problem killing somebody if it meant defending you or defending one of the kids. I don't even have a hesitation. Aww. But that's just the way I think it's supposed to be. I didn't have a problem trying to kill somebody when I was a cop if they were putting somebody else's life in danger.
If it was legal.
Yeah. If that's what my job was to do, to protect the innocent, that's what I'm supposed to do. And it would not have ever been, I fired my gun without hesitation. Yeah. But that's kind of role. Now, did we have women that were law enforcement officers? Yeah. Some of them were very, very good. And others, just like some of the men, were poor, lousy police officers. Never should have been there. They were too dangerous to be accountants, much less police officers. And it was both men and women. Yes. But the women in law enforcement obviously have a role. And I'm not just talking about in dispatch. I'm talking about as law enforcement officers. They make great detectives. They do get in battles. I've been in a couple fights with some women, and they were dirty fighters. And they were awesome.
And great shots.
And we're good. And so, but there were some limitations. There were some limitations with upper body strength and ability to get over walls and some things like that. And wrestle a big, huge, gigantic man.
Right.
I had trouble, wrestling some big, huge, gigantic men where I had to use my ability to talk to them and joke around with them and kind of like, verbal judo. Give a little bit of verbal judo and get them into handcuffs. I literally had a couple big guys that I knew that if we got in a fight, I would have to shoot them because it'd be one of those unarmed person got shot by a police officer. Well, he's a big ass mother effer, and I didn't have any choice. He was going to kill me.
What about your baton? But
a couple of those guys, I was able to say, talk to them and say, listen, I'm just going to have to shoot you if we get into this fight, and it's going to happen. If you get to me first and I go down, they're going to chase you down and somebody else is going to kill you. And do you really want to go through all this? So how about if you just put on these handcuffs and then we just go to the jail and try to work this out? And they go, okay. And they turn around and I got to get two handcuffs because their arms are so big.
Really?
Yes, that their hands would not get close enough together. You'd have to use two pairs of handcuffs.
Wow.
Carl's seen those guys. Carl's one of those guys. He's huge. Carl's a big man. In a good way, not a bad way. All right. We didn't stray off, did we? These are all like little segments that I want to get to. All right. They have never played sports competitively. Uh-oh, what'd I miss?
She was talking, I think, about her kids. Oh, no, she was talking about men that people that don't understand why you don't want men in women's sports.
Yes. That's a good point. That's a good point. Also, we know that there are a few men that act more like a chick. Don't
we be 133?
Yeah, yes. awesome. Go ahead, read that.
She says, I won CIF for cross country and there were men competing against me that wouldn't have happened. If there were men competing against her, that wouldn't have happened. She's talking about why you're a great cop.
Stump. I'm stumped. Sorry, we get rolling and we're a little bit behind on the comments, so they don't always connect. All right, so we talked about the ordering. And there was a lot of other comments, and we tried to work that out the best that we possibly could. And I think in some cases, if I can just finish up with that, I just think that some of the women, and I could be wrong, some, not all, some of the women just not have had a guy that has the ability to ask the right questions prior to going on that first date and be trusted with that job.
Yeah, because it takes finesse. You know, it's not just the ordering, it's having the respect enough to ask the questions, to be, to listen well and to hear her likes and dislikes and then make a choice. But I can understand that women being with men that are not trustworthy and being like, I can't even trust this guy to pick me up at home, or more or less let him take me to a restaurant and order for me.
Right. Right.
Like I'm not even giving him my home address, you know, so.
And then ordering doesn't necessarily mean, if we're looking, we can look at the menu together and talk about what it is that what do you have it narrowed down to, and you say these two things, and then you go, you know what, you just pick for me one of those two or something like that.
Yeah.
Or you say, you know, I think I'm feeling like this chicken marsala and a Caesar salad, and then I order for you. I mean, that's the one thing that I kind of got off it. It isn't necessarily that he's like saying, just shut up. She's gonna have the rib. Well, she's gonna have the salad.
Time's the salad for you.
I saw you walk into the restroom. Yeah. She'll have the salad, no croutons.
Oh my God!
And do you have a light? Do you have a light ranch by chance?
Or just some balsamic vinegar as a dash on the side.
Just a sprinkle of lemon. Just a lemon spit. No, it would be like you look at it, but then the ordering is done by the man. Not that he's choosing necessarily for you. You get
but
that?
But you're not big on ordering. After we decide, you're like, you tell her.
Yeah, no. I mean, there's a few things, but your order is complicated. I know I would get it wrong. So here, one thing I confessed earlier, and there's also these confessions I have, right? And so I personally, I'm manly enough to tell you where my limitations are.
Yes.
Right? So you have to be that too. And so my limitation, I hate drive-thrus with the kids because there's 4 of them and they all want a hamburger a different way.
One with mustard.
Right? One with tomato. I mean, it's like, what? And so I hate going through the drive-thru, but with the pandemic, we can't get inside the freaking thing.
Yeah.
And so I go, oh gosh, we got to go through that. And she's been there when I'm going, I just write it down.
Yes.
So I can order it. So they
Nobody
can do
can remember all of that.
No. And then you add gluten-free.
Soy-free.
I can't remember day to day that you're gluten-free. Like, oh, she'll have the sandwich.
No.
And you go, what? What have you not learned? So as a gentleman, I go, she will order now. Go ahead. Order. But we split too. We split a lot of our meals. So we do.
And we like to share.
Yes, because you can tell we're both very thin. I don't see my camera right now. Hold on. I went off chart. So yeah, I'm wearing white. I shouldn't wear white. Whew. Oh my gosh. All right. So we got that. And then we talked about men in sports. We talked about being able to protect a woman. That's got to be mandatory. I mean, that's the one thing. If you're not going to change a light bulb, if you're not going to pull the weeds or fix the whatever, at least be able to protect. And that's kind of what you settled on. You know, I can't find a man to fix shit, nothing. At least I know that at least he'll rumble.
Yeah, for sure. That's the baseline.
All right. Well, that's good enough. We have to have that.
Seriously, has anyone had a guy order for them? Oh, Carol, you're funny. Actually, yes.
Yeah.
Andy does like to order.
I do. But then we, you know.
But it's based on a conference ahead of time.
Yes. And that's what I was kind of get to. It's not necessarily just walking up. And for men that don't know, there may be an 18-year-old watching that hasn't gone on the first date yet. I don't know. Like, who are these idiots that are, he's on Twitch. So I wanted to play a game. I thought this was some kind of video game. Is that it's got to be this discussion. And that is the great thing about the pre-date. The phone calls and the text messages, and I don't know if they use emails anymore. I don't know. But the phone calls is that process of getting to know one another. That's the most important thing. And I think when I was thinking about this earlier, the one thing I wanted to talk about most was the phone calls leading up to the first date, and asking some really goofy questions just to kind of make people laugh and have a good time, and then some poignant ones that kind of mixed in there, like, what do you like to eat? Like, that would be important. Like, how could you be a carnivore and then, be dating a vegetarian? Yeah, that would be that wouldn't be very good, right? Always have, are those leather shoes? Is that a leather belt you got on?
Never, ever, ever be.
You got a leather belt. Like, so you want to find that out? Like,
oh yeah, that's a disqualifier.
Yeah,
that's an immediate disqualifier. Vegan. I don't even let my kid be vegan. Slaw. Comes with a whole plethora of nonsense.
The other day I asked her, I go, hey, I got some fruit. You want some fruit? And she goes, what? Who eats fruit? Not me.
I just don't happen to be a fruit fan. I don't know what that is. They're just wasted calories to me. Like, if I want something sweet, I'm gonna eat chocolate. I don't want to eat like 50 berries. Oh my God, can I tell the funniest goji berry story with you? So I am trying to exercise restraint in not telling Andy what to do. So I really, really, really do not tell him what to do. So he decides he's going to get a bowl of dried goji berries. If any of you are familiar with goji berries, when you dry them, they're like this big. So he ate what would be otherwise the equivalent of 3 buckets of goji berries. Because they were dried and they were this big. And I just sat there and I was like, oh God, you should say something. You really should say something. And then the little voice in me is like, no, don't tell him what you don't want him to think you're like trying to control his food. So there's this like little conversation in my head. And later last night he was like, oh my God, I'm dying. Oh my God. I'm like, what? And I've been drinking
lots of water.
Yeah. And I was like, honey, that was the goji berries. That was like literally like 3 carts full of berries if they hydrated. And then he was drinking tons of water, right? So they were hydrating in his stomach. So, you just...
They were like little rice.
They were like little rice grains when they're dehydrated.
And then what happens?
And then when they get in your stomach, combined with the 6 quarts of water that you consume, they go back to natural size inside your stomach. Wow. Yeah, sorry guys, but I just... It's part of the traditional role of just, kind of staying quiet and letting you do your thing.
I'm going to let him die tonight because he doesn't know any better.
It wasn't like that. Oh. Just trying not to be overbearing and be an ag. Honey, don't eat those.
Very good. I just won't eat as many from now on.
Yes.
I'll just have a few.
Yes.
It said superfood or something like that. Yeah. Miraculous superfood. I was trying to eat super.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You ate super.
I don't want to be your Superman. I just want to be your man, and I'm going to be super.
Listen to the voice. Listen to the voice, right?
You got to choose your battles.
Choose your battles. Exactly.
Yeah, but you had to suffer with me moaning and groaning last night, and not in a good way. By the way. I was like, oh, honey, what are you doing over there? And you felt my stomach. You go, oh my God,
it's hard.
My stomach was hard. Oh,
yeah, his stomach was hard. Sorry. I needed that clarification.
Oh my gosh. Let me just go through some of these really quick. Love it, except for the ice cream. Yeah, but again, that's the thing that you talk about in your pre-first date. Deborah says, yes. That's kind of yes. My doll still does these kind of special date nights for us, and I got to do what? All I got to do is get sexy for him. Wow, Deborah, thanks for sharing these dates so much. No, my husband has bad pics, says Rachel. Well, you got to teach him.
Yeah.
Is there not none of that is going on in these days? You can't teach an old man new tricks.
No, but I got to tell you, another thing that I love about you is you're conscientious. You pay attention. Some men they just tune women out. You know, where they're not looking at, they don't care what they wear unless they're out in like dirty sweatpants. They're not paying attention to the details. And so you wouldn't trust them with your food.
Oh, what do you think about Maria? What she says here? She says, not when you're dating. No, you don't know each other. Even after being married 25 years, my husband might say, I bet you ordered this, and half the time he's wrong. I love chivalry and a man who is direct and strong, but I think he might want to stay out of my food.
And so here may be the issue.
Okay.
Ladies, most of us have a very complicated relationship with food. So I think what is triggered by this post is you're taking the one very complicated issue for women and saying, what if you let a man take control of this area? And I think that's what freaks out most of the women. So it's not, would you let a man choose your vacation spot? Or would you let a man choose what part of town you lived in? But you're striking at the one issue that is somewhat sacred for most women. So I think it's kind of fair to say it's not that they don't want, a lot of these women, it's not that they don't want men to lead, but they just don't want them to control their food. And that I totally get. Like, you can control everything in my life, but don't control my food. Yeah.
Like Kim Bell Hollinger, who I know very well. And I was a little surprised that she said this, but it's cool. I love Kim. Absolutely not. I can choose and think for myself. Planning something special is great and thoughtful, but then leave it all. Leave it at that. Leave it at that. Sorry. But again, I just want to come back to the thing. It's doing these things with knowledge is what's important. Do it with knowledge. Don't haphazardly guess.
But like, think of it this way. You know how much I respect your leadership, but I've got serious food issues. So I just, even at this stage in our relationship, I can't see you being like, because I weigh myself every day and I have good days and bad days. And so like, there's a lot that goes into what I choose to eat. And I can't imagine you being like, okay, we have to eat this today. You know what I mean?
Here's kind of how we order though. We sit there and talk and say, we're at Rembrandt's. Right. And we decide, what are we going to have? We've had, last time we hear the scallops, last time we had the blah, blah, blah. What do you think about the ribeye?
Yeah.
And then you say, well, how do you want to have it? And I'll say, well, medium. And you go, yeah, medium.
Yeah.
And then, well, what do you want to have with it? Potatoes.
Right.
Yes, potatoes. And then, so that's what I'm talking. We have this discussion, we know. And then when he comes and we say, we'll have the ribeye, medium, and we're going to split it. So if we could have 2 plates.
Yes.
But that's the thing. At this point, it's not always important that I end up doing it. Now we just kind of like whoever starts talking first. But I can get through it. And in the early stages, I may have done it once or twice, and maybe it trumps now that I'm thinking about it. I think I did order for us over there, but that was with knowledge. You see the difference? Like we have this discussion and then I say, this is what it is we're going to do. Yeah. But as you get to know each other, I think of it the opposite way, where they say never when dating. I think, well, that would be great in dating because you're showing that you're listening.
Leadership. Yeah.
And you're paying attention. And then you turn around and repeat what it is they just said to you. Yes. If you can do that, and they go, oh, what did you say you wanted it on the side, the dressing on the side or on it? On the side. Oh yeah, she wants it on the side.
This is so romantic. It is very cute. It really is.
All right. I think we got this.
I think that's what most of women are missing. The ordering implies with knowledge. To them, they're thinking he literally is going to decide whether I'm eating chicken, beef, shrimp, rice. You know what I mean? That he didn't ask me what I wanted.
Yeah. And that is where I'm almost sad that some of the women on here have not had that kind of date where it wasn't one of like the prep before the date and then sitting there with the menu together and then, okay, I think I know what you want. Do you mind if I order for you? And having this dialogue and this comfort level and then heard if you're honored that way. And again, some women just can't let go.
Just want to let go of the steering wheel. They really don't. And almost anything. And they
fight Jesus for the steering wheel.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And how's that working for you?
Yeah. All right. So I think we covered a lot of ground here. And I'm so glad you joined me. I was a little worried about you. Did you hear me telling the kids, don't go near the bedroom door?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I was.
But thank you. That's very sweet. I really needed that 20 minutes. I really did.
Oh, good. So that's going to be solved by the man asking if you care if he orders for you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bev. Oh my gosh, that's good advice. My husband accuses me of ordering the most expensive things on the menu. Just say yes, dear.
That's so funny.
Oh my gosh. Let me see.
What does Carl mean by, I just had this vision of the toilet scene in Dumb and Dumber.
Oh yeah, what is that?
I don't know.
I got to see it. I mean, I've seen it.
I love the movie, but I can't remember the scene.
Eat pomegranate seeds instead.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Her mom, Hedia's mom. Well, does your mom do it? Or she just tells somebody else to do it?
Yes, the housekeeper does it.
A container this big of pomegranate seeds.
We have 2 giant pomegranate trees. So they're peeled for us. It's the only fruit I eat.
Just a second ago, my son was over here eating seaweed and we both could hear him and I was ignoring it. Finally, Hedia looked over and go like, really, dude? Like, it was like,
because it was literally 40 minutes later.
Yeah, it was like a cow.
I was thinking to myself, it'll be 5 minutes. How long will it take to eat 10 pieces of seaweed?
He was listening to us. So I was kind of going with the fact that he was sitting there listening to what we had to say and kind of like paying attention.
Yeah.
I don't know if what we had to say was very, interesting to him, but he sat there and listened to us. So I was willing to put up with the thing that I hate most, and that is hearing people eat. Do you see how I kind of like there's like compromise even with me?
Trust me when I tell you, I know that's what you're thinking.
And then when you looked over, I knew exactly what you were thinking. Yeah. I was going somewhere with that.
With the pomegranate seeds?
Pomegranate seeds. You should hear me eat pomegranate seeds. It sounds like a war in his mouth. He's like, like Godzilla.
Yeah, Andy really doesn't like noises at the food table, period.
I will knock somebody's head off. CPS, don't come after me. I'm just kidding. As an accused. Oh, I already got that. Sorry.
Yes.
All right.
Do we miss anything else? Hour.
Oh, but I am so happy. I'm so happy you're feeling better.
Thank you.
I felt bad. I didn't know what to do.
Oh.
See, this is where I struggle. Can I talk about where I struggle?
Sure.
Where I struggle is, and you probably know this, is when I can tell you weren't feeling good at all. I mean, something had to get out of your purse. Like you actually thought about it. It's this thought process. Do I really need that out of my purse, or can I just not get it out of my purse? And this is the part I'm still trying to learn, when I step in and when I stay back. Because of our history, we've had different results from stepping in. Like, leave me alone. I don't want to hear your voice. Not you. Okay. No, like, Leah, don't talk to me right now. I'm not to be talked to when I'm feeling this way. And then
I've never done that.
No.
Okay.
I'm just saying. But when you you're a little bit gun shy. So when you had,
I'm a little gun
shy. But I'm still not quite sure, like, because you are a strong woman. I mean, there's no doubt. When she talks about that she felt good when I took charge of something or led and that kind of stuff, how that affects me is like, this is like just amazing. And I'm just so thankful that you are who you are. Because I know she's capable. Listen, she's capable. She's smarter and more capable than I am in many ways. But the fact that you allow me to do that and feel masculine. Because I wouldn't feel masculine if this wouldn't last. But I still struggle, like, when to step in. That moment where, somebody doesn't feel well, it's hard to determine.
I always want you to step in.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All the time.
Oh,
I fail. I fail at that. I'm going to get better at it. Because sometimes I go, I just like, maybe she just needs to be left alone. No. I did put CBD cream on your back.
You did.
Yeah. I would get accused that was for me when I ever tried to do something like rub lotion on something. Like, you're just doing that because you're horny.
No, it's extremely, it's not for me. It's extremely thoughtful.
See, but we could see kind of in this discussion here how complex sometimes relationships are.
Well, because it's history. So you're dealing with a lot of PTSD.
Yeah.
Last relationship. So Andy, poor thing, has a lot of PTSD.
Oh, I do.
Like relationship PTSD. So
I don't flinch very often, but just
he just I lick literally. Like I go over to like go like this to him, and he's like, and I'm like, oh my God, what is that? Like, what do you think I'm gonna do? It's very sad. Bev, what is that about? I try. Yes. Wait, are you talking about him give me more hugs when I'm feeling bad, or I need to give him more hugs? Probably,
I don't know. I mean, it's such a hard. It's worse than the drive-through.
Oh.
Because I think I may be wrong. I mean, I bet you I could put up. I'm gonna try to figure out another post to put up. And I bet you we get all over the board too. Like I just want to be left alone. I don't want him touching me. I don't want him asking to try to help me. And we'll get others that say, "Gosh, I just wish that he would just." But
our love languages are literally the exact same two things: words of affirmation and touch. So mine's just words of affirmation first, then touch, and then yours is touch and then words of affirmation. So I always like you to touch me,
nice,
console me, hug me. You know what I mean? Rub lotion on my. You can never touch me unless it is to slap me, and even then, occasionally you do that too. Whoops!
Stop! But you are that way. I mean, it's going to go on this one last thing. One thing that I often pointed out.
He should give the hugs.
Yeah.
Yes.
One thing I've often pointed out is that what other way you make me feel so good is because, and Carl and Bev being on a lot of ride-alongs and Carol knowing law enforcement, is that we drive differently than everybody else. I understand that the rules and laws are made for stupid people, not for us, not for smart people. Like a red light is an option.
That's option. Until it's like
the speed limit again. It's not for people that know how to drive,
right?
Like us. And what I love about you, and I've mentioned this to Hedy several times, is that you are nearly unflappable as a passenger. I grew up with a mom who constantly put on the floor brake on the passenger side of the vehicle and the handbrake against the thing. Like, oh, what do you do? Watch out! Hey, you see? Constantly. So that's my mom, and then from then on, it was other experiences. We had ride-alongs that people they would throw up and ask me can you take me back to the station? I can't take this anymore. I can't stand the way because I'd be lights and siren going to different calls and going in the opposite way of traffic, that kind of stuff. You do nothing. Literally, there'd be a car pulling out in front of us and a kid with a ball bouncing in front of us and just and I'm going floor, and then driving backwards and then hit the brakes and spin around and she's like eating her French fries. Don't eat the French fries. Eating broccoli. You do nothing. You don't even take in a breath.
Well, I mean, I rode around on the streets of Beirut, so if you know what the streets of Beirut are like.
There you go.
It's nothing.
But that makes me feel so. It's so good not to have you question my driving constantly.
Not at all.
Because I get us there.
Yeah, always
faster than most, but I get us there.
I actually love the way you drive.
Okay, thanks. Good wingman. All right. Priscilla, the speed limit is just a suggestion for me. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not. It's for the
the most amazing thing is he pulls a Yui in front of a clear no Yui sign and a cop pulls up behind him. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, now what's going to happen?
And lights us up.
Lights us up behind us. And he's like, oh, yeah, man. I was down. Yeah, man, I'm sorry. Hey, did you see that back there? Yeah, I did. I saw it. And the guy's like, okay, just be more careful next. And I was like, what just happened? I don't understand what just happened. The guy's like, do you see it? He's like, yeah, I saw it. And he was just like,
I didn't do it like that.
No, but
that was very nice.
No, but
I said, yeah, I'm sorry. I saw
you didn't. You did not. You
were like, I apologize.
You apologized. You're like, yeah, man, I saw it, but it was, I didn't realize. I don't know what you said.
I said I was sorry.
You said you were sorry, but you explained, yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I'm sorry, but something.
I didn't deny it.
You didn't. He didn't.
Most people deny it.
He didn't deny it. But the thing is, he was so cavalier and confident about this at the same time. I think the dude was like, wait, was that illegal? What he did? And then he didn't pull out his badge or anything, but the cop's like, okay, yeah, man, be more careful next time. And then just kept driving. Yeah. And I was like, I don't understand what just happened. I'm like, I do the sappy female routine and I still get a ticket. But he was just like, yeah, bro. Like it was like some kind of a dude code that just went down. You know, it was amazing. It was a masterpiece. It was a work of art. I gotta tell you. I mean, there's a lot of very amazing things about you, but that was a work of art.
Your jaw was on like you're like. What you actually said? What just happened?
I don't understand.
I go nothing. It was just
because I was waiting for him to be like, is he gonna pull out his badge? Is he gonna have to do some secret handshake?
Remember, I didn't have it with me. I've left it at home and I was in my backpack.
Yeah, but it was a work of art. I gotta tell you, it really was.
Thank you. No, you just gotta
Jedi mind trick. Exactly.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it was. It was like some dude cop code thing that he just nodded his head a certain way, and the dude's like, okay, yeah, you can go. Yeah, just don't do it again.
Yeah, that's all. And then he ended up being like in the same parking lot as us.
Yeah.
Afterwards, and I like waved to him as we were walking in. What's up, bro? I didn't give him the code for it, but I thought about it. I should have done it just to so he could be confirmed what was going on. That he had, that there was something. The Jedi moment, like Carl said.
It really was.
All right, we got to go. We've kept these people enough.
Yes. Thank you guys.
I'm so happy because I was going to just kind of do something else. No, I was going to go through this book. I was going to have ramble on, son, like the Led Zeppelin, William Boykin. All right, so go. I'll put it up one more time just for fun. You're going to go to the Stand Courageous.
Are they going to do it online too?
I think so. Okay. Right. If I scroll down here, it says watch.
Yeah, there you go.
Listen, gather, read.
And in case they may put up a link later.
There's a weekly devotional. Yep. All right, my friends, we love you guys. Thanks for joining. We just had to have a discussion. This was really intriguing. I wasn't quite sure which direction to go, but with you here, it was obviously helpful. I need to know because
I'm your helpmate.
You are.
That's what the Lord says. We're supposed to be helpmates.
It just is so sad where men are today, and I don't know. I hope I do my sons well, and
you're super dad.
And making men out of them, and allowing my daughter, to accept a strong man as her husband. That's willing to take care of her. I'm hoping that she's going to pick a man that will take care of her, and that's not a big pussy,
Absolutely.
And will protect her. If not, I will kick his ass.
I will have prison ministry from the inside, as Pastor Mark says.
Yes. All right, my friends, we love you very much. God bless you.
Us.
And thank you for making Hedy feel better. It was you guys. It obviously was not me. I'm so glad that you feel better.
The Lord Jesus Christ. Good friends.
All right,
family.
All right. Take care. Talk to you later.
Love you guys.
All right. Bye.